Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of GGS2 Case 3. We've just finished talking to Baroque, so we are heading now to the detention center to actually meet with our client, Benjamin Dirtpour. Well, future client. Or did Vortex is like, okay, you're good now. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, we're gonna go see Benjamin Dirtpour. It's the same day, unspecified time, the detention center, holding cell 11. Holding cell 11. Oh, looks like this is it.
I wonder if that's man all curled up. I wonder if it's that man all curled up in the corner.
His name is Dr. Benjamin Dirtpour, right? Excuse me, Dr. Dirtpour.
Who might you be?
I'm a defense attorney. Naruhodō.
A defense attorney?
But what's his deal?
You're a defense attorney? You mean for that? Are you gonna defend my theories?
Your theories?
Yesterday's experiment!
This man is just going non-stop!
That experiment was precisely that experiment alone. No matter what anyone says, it was a success! Yeah, a success! Yet, none of the defense attorneys I spoke with would believe me. Once they heard what they had to say, they all ran for it!
I guess I should probably keep it to myself that I was so overwhelmed that I didn't catch most of what he just said. Me neither? Well then, that's quite an introduction of this character. Yesterday's experiment. About the experiment you just mentioned.
They're calling it a huge flop. I mean, there was that big explosion and someone died.
Yeah, well, I guess that's also one way of looking at it. No, actually, to be precise, the experiment failed and succeeded at the same time.
What do you mean?
Mr. Kingsley was instantly broken down into particles before my very eyes. I'm sure of it. Up until that point, everything was going according to plan. And then Mr. Kingsley was supposed to be teleported to the Crystal Tower. But
The device caused a huge explosion and Mr. Kingsley was killed.
yes, I can't deny that part was a failure.
Which means that the explosion was an accident, right?
But the people in charge are all saying you're suspected of murder.
The fact that Mr. Kingsley lost his life is an immovable fact. That's why I want to atone for that crime right here, right now. But murder? That's just inconceivable! It was an accident!
I see.
Holmesy told me once that whether something is an accident or a murder changes the situation entirely.
What do you mean?
If that really was an accident, then that device is protected by the system.
Protected?
Yes, apparently this country has a new system known as the Special Provision for the Protection of Science and Technology.
That is such a mouthful. Never heard of it. And I'm probably gonna have to say it at some point.
But if it were actually a murder,
Then my device can be thoroughly investigated as a murder weapon! And if an investigation of its makeup were to happen, My theory would of course be stolen! I have to have it protected at all costs. So I'd like it made known at tomorrow's trial that it was an accident.
So that's what you meant. The hyper-electric instantaneous teleportation. Oh my goodness. So, there was a huge accident on the world's fairgrounds yesterday, right?
That's right! No, wait, the nuance of what you said was a little off. It was a huge explosion, to be more precise.
Potato, potato.
It was hyper-electric instantaneous teleportation technology, right? That sounds incredible.
The human body is composed of molecules which are linked electrically. If that's the case, then it should be possible to break it down with enough electrical power and transmit it somewhere else. That's my entire theory!
I guess all I can say is that it's technology that defies imagination. Also, I feel like shocking someone with that much electricity, I think they would explode.
It's a truly remarkable piece of technology. Just try to imagine. For example, I could be out of this cell and back on the world's fairgrounds in an instant.
That would be pretty amazing.
Then, I could close my eyes once more, and in the next instant, be on a huge stage in Paris. Yes, you could experience this Earth's boundless vastness to your heart's content.
I guess that means I wouldn't have to spend 50 days stuffed in a closet to get here from Japan.
The Earth's vastness, huh?
What's up, Iris-chan?
The ability to go anywhere you want the next instant. But doesn't that kind of seem like it might actually make the world feel small?
Oh, you know, now that you mention it, you could be right. Oh dear, what could this mean?
Looks like he seriously started worrying about it.
Yada yada.
Anyway, my theory is flawless, but scientific technology means nothing if it's not implemented. And in order for that to happen,
You need a mountain of cash, don't you? All young scientists struggle with that.
you're very well informed.
Bumsy says it all the time. He says the government should offer more assistance.
Anyway, that's when I met him. That first-class investor, Mr. Conrad Kingsley.
He was the victim in yesterday's accident. The Grim Reaper's university days. So, Prosecutor Baroque Van Zieks was a friend of yours when you were a university student, right?
Yes, he was studying law, and I was studying science.
What was Prosecutor Van Zieks like in university?
Let's see.
I
guess you could say he was a quiet, good-natured chap.
What? Oh, sorry. Let me ask you again. Now remember, we're talking about Prosecutor Van Zieks here, who's known for being a cold-hearted bully of newbie defense attorneys. Now, what was he like again? I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I'm pretty sure that's what they call a seriously leading question.
But yeah, like I said, he was a quiet, good-natured chap. He was the younger son from the illustrious and aristocratic Van Zieks bloodline.
Aristocratic?
younger son.
When I heard about him upon my return to England, I was surprised. Apparently, they've taken to calling him the Grim Reaper of Old Bailey.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but here's what I heard.
No, phone please.
After he graduated from the university, there was a huge case that completely changed his life.
What kind of case was it?
No, sorry. I'm afraid I don't know the details. At that time, I'd already emigrated to Germany.
Oh, I see. But if Dr. Dirtpour knows about the Grim Reaper, not brave enough to tell him he's the prosecutor in his trial tomorrow. Maybe he already suspects. The victim. So I heard that Mr. Conrad Kingsley died in that accident. What was your relationship with him?
It was 1 year ago that he came to visit my lab in Germany. He said he wanted to invest in my perfect theory. And thank you, God!
So then, you two weren't close before then, right?
Someone willing to invest in your research, huh? I'm a bit jealous.
At the very least, he was a wonderful man as far as I'm concerned.
Is that so?
Of course! He had an experimental device built based on my theory and entered it in the World's Fair. If I gain the acceptance of the British government, they'll financially support my research. Mr. Kingsley prepared a large amount of money and an outstanding engineer for me. And he had a perfect device made for me based on the plans I'd drawn, but
that dream was blown away in that big explosion, huh?
I owed Mr. Kingsley so much. There's no way I'd ever have killed him.
Judging by the look in his eyes, he doesn't seem to be lying. Allow me to confirm this one more time, Dr. Dirtpour. The explosion yesterday was an accident, right? You had no intention of killing the victim, who was your investor, right?
Of course not! I swear it! But the fact that he died because of my device is true. Which means that I'm by no means innocent. But there's no way I'd ever use scientific technology for something evil like killing someone. As a scientist, I wouldn't do it in a million years, and if you blasted me to dust. Can you believe in me and my theory? Science is about the pursuit of truth. That's what I've always believed.
This track. I don't know anything about science or about theories. But I'll believe in you and fight for you as hard as I can. As a defense attorney, to the bitter end, even if I get blasted into dust.
I realized something after graduating from the university and emigrating to Germany. If a person does serious work and fights with all their strength for something, then their origins and nationality don't matter.
Dr. Dirtpour.
I'll be counting on you, in tomorrow's trial.
Alright, now we can finally go to the World's Fair. Come on, Naruhodō-kun. The accident happened on the World's Fairgrounds after all.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's finally time to start investigating. Alright, we are going to the World's Fair now. Boop-a-doo. New thing has been added. Yay! This one. Oh, finally, we get to go to the World's Fair that we heard so much about. Same day, unspecified time, World's Fair Experiment Exhibition Grounds, Crystal Tower area. Oh, I think the World's Fairgrounds might be a little too big for me. We've been walking around in this huge crowd for about 2 hours, but I feel like I passed out like 3 times.
No kidding. This crowd is huge. I was nearly trampled about 3 times.
Oh no! Guess we better be careful to keep a good grip on each other's hands. Oh, they're holding hands! Cute! Looks like we finally made it. Scene of yesterday's big accident. Right under the public experiment stage. What was that? Thought I heard an argument from up on the stage. Today's the day you finally pushed me too far. I'm hauling you in. That's right, you're under arrest.
Ha! Just try it. You've got no proof.
Hmm? These voices sound awfully familiar. You smart mouth brat, just watch me. I'll lock you up in a cell all by yourself.
Not if I get you first. I'll ram that fried rubbish right down your throat.
What is going on?
Hey, Greggy-san! What you doing up there?
Oh. Oh! My. It's the little lady. How are you on this fine day? Gregson! He nearly made a haiku there.
Not good, obviously. Look at this crowd. It's packed. I wanted to ride a hot air balloon, but we've already been waiting 3 hours.
Unacceptable! You only need to say the word. I'll use the power granted by my position to see that you get to ride as long as you like. This man is Tobias Gregson. He's a detective with Scotland Yard. He was made to go on a leave of absence until recently due to a certain turn of events, but now he's back to work. He also gained a little fame due to his appearance in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Because of that, he's pretty much at Iris Chan's beck and call since she's the author. That's all very well, but he's going a little overboard this time, if you ask me. Oi! Mind your own bloody business! Sorry. What? Don't tell me you're handling the defense for this case. Yes, I've taken the case.
So, yes, we're here to investigate.
Oh dear. So that's it. What's he looking so uneasy for all of a sudden?
5 shillings. Is that really the best you can do? You're a lawyer. Carry what catch on you for crying out loud?
Excuse me, as far as I know, in every Ace Attorney game, lawyers don't make money! Hey, give that back! That's the last of my scholarship funds for the month.
I'll give it back later, minus the 3 shilling handling fee.
This girl is Gina Lestrade. She's a pickpocket who lives in the East End. 6 months ago, during a certain case that ended in me being prohibited to defend in court, Gina-san, this pickpocket, was the one that I was defending.
What do you think you're playing at, Naruhodō? Calling me a pickpocket over and over again? You want me to stuff some of that fried rubbish down your throat too?
Huh? But, Gina-san, you are a pickpocket. Even just now, you and Detective Gregson were bickering with each other. I figured you've been practicing your trade here at the world's fairground.
Honestly, it's not any way to talk to a lady. People change in 6 months, you know. I'll have you know, I'm a Scotland Yard detective in training now. So, yeah. It's Inspector Lestrade to you.
Oh, look at her little badge! Oh, that's so cute! Gina makes me very happy how far she's gone since, like, first game. Inspector Lestrade? That handmade ID badge is hurting my eyes. The inspector part is something she made up. No one calls her that but herself. But anyway, it's going to be a bit difficult for me to help you with your investigation.
Aw, come on.
Now then, I'll be heading upstairs. Keep a close watch from down here.
I will.
Wow, I guess there are a few things I'll have to talk to her about. Also, like, it's been 6 months. Are you telling me that, like, Gina never came by and visited the Baker Street house? Because, like, I know Gina and Iris are good friends last I checked, so it feels odd that she never stopped by to say hi to everyone in the Baker Street house between this whole 6 months. Alright, let's talk to Gina. Gina. I met Gina-san in connection with a certain case 8 months ago. She was living with other orphan children in the East End. In order to help support everyone, she was picking pockets and ended up getting dragged into a murder case.
I had a lot of time to think while I was behind the bars. I thought to myself, I can't go on picking pockets.
You're amazing, Jeannie.
So you gave up pickpocketing and took to being a detective instead.
That's right. Inspector Lestrade has a pretty cool ring to it, don't you think?
That's quite an impressive jump she made.
Plus, there's the business with Iris's papa.
Iris Chance?
Yeah, I promised her. I promised I'd use the power I gained through my position to search the world high and low for him.
That's a pretty dramatic promise.
Jeannie.
So I tried taking the Scotland Yard entrance exam, but... well, what was I supposed to do? I can't read.
Right.
So then, Z hopes he tried asking Greggy-san. And Greggy-san said he'd take full responsibility for raising Jeannie.
Aw, Gregson! I'm surprised Detective Gregson was willing to take on such a dangerous task.
Well, hopes he has a bit of hobby for finding people's weak points, see?
That great detective.
And so, you can go ahead and ask me, Inspector Lestrade, all about this case.
Inspector Lestrade, huh? Actually, there is still one huge history surrounding Gina-san.
Oh? What is it? What is it?
6 months ago, Gina-san was prosecuted by the Grim Reaper. And she was found not guilty. And yet now, as you can clearly see...
Oh! Are you talking about that rumor? Honestly, you're such a worrywart, Naruhodō.
That smile. She's so much happier now. I guess Gina-san doesn't think it's strange at all.
Well, like I said at the time, I didn't do anything wrong. Even the Grim Reaper could see that.
I can't help feeling that she wasn't completely blameless.
But there's no doubt that Soseki-kun is safe back in Japan.
Well, that's true. I guess the Grim Reaper was watching, huh?
Yup, that's why I'm still alive and kicking.
Yesterday's accident.
So yeah, there's not much else you can say about that except that it was intense. As soon as the doctor pulled the lever on the device, smoke came pouring out like pshh. And the next thing we knew, there was a huge explosion. It was pretty impressive to see, that's for sure.
Eh?
Jeannie, did you see the accident yesterday?
Yeah, after all, the boss is in charge of security here at the World's Fair, right?
The boss. I guess she means Detective Gregson.
So if you're security, you can see anything. Oh, and I got to look down on the failure of an experiment from a hot air balloon!
What? You're so lucky, Jeannie. Maybe I should work security too.
People will walk all over you, Iris!
Hey, why not? All you'd have to do is threaten the boss a little, and he'd make you part of the team right away.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
What? No! Don't do that, Iris-chan.
Anyway, I'm really surprised. It sounds like it was a really big explosion, and yet Benny couldn't stop talking about how his experiment had been a success.
Benny!
Yeah, but, well, maybe it could be considered a success in a way.
Huh? What does that mean? Experiment success. How could it be considered a success when it caused a big explosion like that?
Weren't you listening? I said it could be considered a success in a way. Yeah, the experimental device started pouring smoke and ended up exploding, but the location where the victim's body was discovered was the Crystal Tower.
What? At the Crystal Tower.
You can see it right in front of you, right? There, on the first floor of the tower.
Alas, it's all shattered.
The cage the victim was inside at the time really did end up being instantly teleported above the tower and plunging down into it. See? So in a way it was a success, right?
What? I can't believe it.
Well, I don't really know how it works, but it seems like it should be possible with science. Oh, here, you can have this. It's a diagram of the area made by the police.
Are you sure it's alright?
Sure, I'm sure. I got 3 shillings from you after all.
I didn't give you those, you know. Thanks! Crime scene diagram shows the layout of Dr. Dirkpour's experimental device which exploded in the Crystal Tower. The investigation. It's probably one of the last thing I'm going to be doing before I have to end this. Come to think of it, Detective Gregson said earlier. But anyway, it's going to be a bit difficult for me to help you with your investigation.
Benny practically ran away.
Ah, that. So I guess we're not allowed to investigate the experimental device that exploded yesterday.
What? Why? We're the defense attorneys in this trial, right?
Well, can we at least have you tell us about your investigation?
Normally, yeah, but we're not allowed to investigate the device either.
Huh?
What was it called again? The Scientific Investigation Unit or something? Anyway, that lot are the only ones allowed to touch it. Sounds pretty dodgy, don't you think?
Detectives not being allowed to investigate. This is definitely the first time I've heard of anything like that.
So I thought I'd just sneak a peek, but the boss caught me. Then he started his one-way rant at me. Don't you think that's super mean?
To be honest, I don't think that rant could have been considered one way.
You'd think he'd be a little more flexible considering how much he loves fried food. Go on, Naruhodō, tell him off for me!
I guess the experimental device must be set up on top of that stage.
Alright, let's go check it out, Naruhodō-kun.
We'll check that out in the next video! Good, we finished talking with Gina just slightly over time, but this is fine. Alright, so, investigating the World's Fair will be in the next video, and I'll see you guys then.